couple of weeks ago, I posted a video, a TikTok Tuesday video, where I was reacting to TikToks of people who have to care for their elderly parents or just talking about that topic in general. And I'm not gonna lie, for that full week, like the next few days after I filmed that video, I just felt this sense of stress and sadness. And I still think about the contents of that video and the comments that were on that video, the comments that were on the TikToks that I was watching. And it stresses me out. It stressed me out then. It still is something that I'm thinking about. It made me really sad as well. And also it motivated me. Like, I started working more. I started filming more videos, and I started coming up with more ideas of things I can do in my business and as a content creator. I was just like, how can I make more money so that I'm prepared for my parents, for my fiance's parents, and for myself. And then this video popped up on my YouTube suggested. I have not watched it yet, so I'm going to watch it with y'all. I do not know her name, but her channel name is Life After 60 with Resting Witch Face. Her video is titled Golden Years My Ass. 80 years old and still doing Uber. Too old to work, too broke to quit. And so her channel name says Life After 60, but this video says 80 years old. Either way, she looks great. If she's 80, she looks phenomenal. And I love it. I already love her just looking at her face and her outfit. I'm going to watch this video and give my thoughts as we go through, but it will be linked down below. If you want to check her out, then you can go and watch her video and subscribe to her channel. Matter of fact, I'm going to subscribe right now. Unfortunately, this is going to be the reality for a lot of aging individuals, especially in the United States. So boomers right now are not able to retire. They're having to either go back to work or work part-time jobs. They may be getting Social Security, but they still have to work because Social Security typically isn't enough. And I'm afraid that younger generations, including my own, millennials, and then Gen Zers, and so on, are also going to face these issues. I really hope that's not the case, and I hope that people are doing what they can to improve their finances, but I know things are tough right now, and this makes me sad. So I want to see what she has to say, and we'll talk about it. Let me give it a thumbs up too. Okay.
Okay guys, well, I just got off work about an hour ago, and I'm in my Mrs. Roper nightgown, as you can see. It's the first thing I do when I get home. I got to put on my jammies and just unwind. I know, after my 3-hour shift. But
is there anybody who stays in their jeans? Sometimes I see that on, what was I watching? I was like, how do people just stay in their work clothes at home? And people will also keep their sneakers on. They're like outside shoes in their house. We take ours off. We don't walk in the house with outside shoes, but I cannot do it. Like, as soon as I get home from something, like going out with my jeans on or even just like an outfit, I'm like, no, I need to shower and get into comfy clothes. So I feel her on that 1,000%.
That's good for Uber. If I can get in a 3-hour shift, I'm doing good. And tonight was a good night. I had a good night. Thursday nights are usually good anyway, as far as making money, but tonight was especially nice because I went to drop off an order it was for KFC, and there was another delivery driver there dropping off an order as well. And she's like, are you dropping off for this house? And I was like, yeah. She goes, well, so am I. I had KFC, she had Del Taco, and we just, figured maybe the family couldn't agree on what to have for dinner. So anyway, we both took ours up to the door, and as we're walking away, she's like, are you with Uber or DoorDash or what? And I said, I'm with Uber. And she said, oh, me too. So next thing we know, we were walking out to our cars in the street, and we started chit-chatting. And I'm not kidding. We sit out there chatting for like 20 minutes. Because, it's kind of a lonely job. We don't have any coworkers. So when you run into somebody else that does this line of work, it's kind of fun to talk to them and find out, what's going on and where their hot spots are and, just that kind of stuff. But anyway, so we went out and stood by our cars and we're chit-chatting, and talked for 20 minutes, and I learned this lady's whole life story. which I like. I love listening to other people talk. I'm not very open, with strangers. I would never share my whole life like that, but I love it when other people do. I loved listening to her, and she was definitely interesting.
God, I'm this way, honestly. And sometimes I have to, like, I won't do it if somebody's not reciprocating, But I am an open book. Like, if you get me talking, I am absolutely open to sharing anything about my life, basically. And I like when other people reciprocate that. Like, if people are open and vulnerable, I love that so, so much. I'm just that way. I don't know why, almost to a flaw, because sometimes I'll think back on conversations. I'm like, I just met this person. Why did I say all of that? Why am I this way? I didn't even think things through. And it's not anything bad, but I don't know. I just tend to overthink things, but I do the same thing.
And the thing that struck me, though, when I first saw her is I, I could tell she was about 80 years old, and I was right. She was 79. And she didn't look like she was in the best of shape. She was having a hard time walking, like, her knees hurt or something, but she was doing it. She's carrying her bags and set them up there. And I was asking her why, she was doing this. Obviously at her age, I wouldn't think she'd be working, but she basically was saying that what'd she say? She's too old to work, but too poor to quit, something like that. Too old to work, too broke to quit. And so then she proceeded to tell me the reason why she was doing this. And I thought you guys might get a kick out of this. Turns out she had just moved to California about 2 years ago. She's from Kansas, I think she said. Her and her husband had lived there all their lives, and they both were blue-collar workers. She didn't say exactly what they did, but they were getting older, and they were getting tired of the hard winters, and both their sons live in California. And they thought, you know what? They want to be near their boys because they didn't know how many years they had left. And it turned out that the husband passed away just last year. So they were only out here a year, and the husband passed. So the timing was good. It's good that they came when they did. But their boys had been out here for many years, and they had come out here to visit them, and they always enjoyed it. But they just really didn't think they could afford to live out here. But finally she decided, you know what? We're just going to sell our house. It was paid for. They sold their house. They took the money from their house, and they were able to buy a mobile home out here. And with her Social Security and his, they were able to do pretty well, I guess. But once he passed away, it doesn't sound like he had any life insurance or anything, and she was just relying on one check. Probably, more now. I think you would get a bigger check, once one of your partners passes. So anyway, even though her one check was bigger, she's only getting one check. So before she didn't have to work. Now she said if she wanted anything over and above, rent, utilities, and food, she had to work. She had no choice. And so she was tickled to get on with Uber. She worked it every day. She worked it every day, and she even worked in the next city down, which is bigger. And she was telling me where to go there and what hours she worked. And she said she could make like $600 a week doing this. Well, I was like, wow, that's pretty good money for doing Uber. And
okay, so she is not 80 years old. This woman is not. The story is about an 80-year-old that she met. So this woman must be in her 60s, but still in her 60s and doing Uber. And California, choosing to live in California, or, maybe that's where you were born and raised, it's no joke out there. Like, I don't know how people do it in California unless you're making a lot of money. Like, you're a high earner. Even if you're a high earner, trying to find reasonable rent and a house to live in, like that is really, really difficult, and the taxes. But I get it for her situation, the woman that she's talking about, to want to move out there to be with their children. It kind of reminds me of Elder Gal here on YouTube. I interviewed her, I think it was a few months ago, maybe a year ago. I can't remember, but Allison from Elder Gal, she is 70 now. I think she's 70. She has a YouTube channel, which, first of all, let me say that I love to see everybody coming onto YouTube and making, like, you can get paid on YouTube. It is not oversaturated. This woman is monetized on YouTube, just sitting here talking, barely editing. You don't have to have a huge skill to be on YouTube. If you are over 60 and considering being even over 50, whatever, any age really, but if you are over 50, over 60, considering getting on YouTube and sharing your journey, like you're struggling financially, I encourage you to do so. If you are okay with being open and vulnerable, and you know, you're probably gonna get some mean comments here and there, we all do, but it's incredible what is happening with YouTube. I just love where this is going, and I've seen a lot of people this age and older taking off and making money from it. And Allison from Elder Gal, she shared how much money she was making from YouTube. And I know recently she had moved abroad to France. I think she's back now in the States, but she was living in California, barely making any money from Social Security, on Medicaid or Medicare, whatever it's called. And then she started making money from YouTube, 1,000 plus per month. And now it's probably more. It's just really cool to see. There are a lot of older folks in similar situations, and people want to hear more stories about that. And, you know, they're not feeling as alone with all this. We'll see in the comments. I was already peeking down there, and you can see that a lot of people relate to this. So anyways.
She said that, you know, she was so thankful that they did come out here because the weather was better, a lot more expensive, but it's okay. She didn't need much. Like I said, she sold her house back there. She was able to pay cash for her mobile home. So her expenses are low. But at least she's near her boys. She kept calling her boys. Her boys are my age. You know, I kept thinking these younger boys, but I mean, she's 79. So she had a 59-year-old son and a 61-year-old son.
Wow.
And she said, you know, they had been out here. Both her boys had been out here for years and years. So she knew what it was about. And like I said, she visited regularly. So she was glad to be out here. But I thought it was interesting to see somebody that age still out there hustling, you know, and it made me worry about, you know, will I be doing this at 80, you know, because her situation sounded pretty similar to mine. You know, I mean, I have a house out here, you know, the house that she sold back there was, she said they got like 130,000 for it, which I guess was good back where she came from. But, you know, if I sold my house out here, I would end up doing the same thing. I would probably just buy a smaller home or mobile home, whatever, and it'll be me and my husband. And if one of us passes, we'll just have one check. And, you know, basically the same scenario, not much different. I wasn't going to pry and ask her what her savings were. The fact that she has to work tells me that there probably wasn't any savings, and the car that she was driving wasn't the best. It looks like it had some front end damage and she couldn't afford to get it fixed. I don't know what the situation was there, but just darling lady. She really was a pretty little lady, and very spry, 79, and she's still doing this, you know, so I got to give her kudos for that. But I'm finding it more and more common when I go to pick up orders, you know, and there's a line of other delivery drivers there. The vast majority of them are senior citizens doing this kind of work. So, yeah, even though it's not the greatest job in the world, it's good for, you know, for seniors. And I think if my mom was still alive, she'd probably be doing this, knowing her, because she was a hard worker. She always worked until she couldn't. When she got cancer, you know, she wasn't able to work anymore. But I always remember her working, always. And I think, like I said, she would probably still be doing this if she was alive too. I don't know if there's an age limit, if, you know, because they hire anybody that's, you know, you got a vehicle and it's insured and you got a driver's license. And I've seen people doing this that looked older than her. So I don't know. I'm going to look that up. I'm curious now if there's an age.
I don't think there is, as long as you're, you know, able to safely drive, which I think that can get into dangerous territories too. Like, there's some older folks who think that they can drive, but it becomes like a risk, you know, and especially to be on the road more, to me, that's not necessarily worth it. I know gig work can be really lucrative, no matter your age. And if you can do it full time, depends on where you live. Like if you're closer to a bigger city or like somewhere that there's a ton of restaurants, then you can make a significant amount of money. Like you could probably make more than a 9 to 5, but you may have to be working more. And then of course it's more wear and tear on your car. You got to pay for gas. You have to pay your own taxes. You don't get any benefits, but it can be a great side gig or a full-time thing if you're okay with the cons that come with it. But so much flexibility too. I think it's great that these options are out there. I have a friend, she's in her 40s and she's been laid off many times in her career, but she's always been a high earner. Like at her job, she's made a lot of money, but then she gets laid off and has to go and drive Uber. She's done like thousands of Uber rides. She doesn't do food delivery. It's like actual Uber driving, and she networks like crazy. She says she really likes it, and I think it's cool. It's not something that I would feel comfortable with personally. Like if I absolutely had to, then sure, but I don't like driving. I don't know about y'all, but I can't stand it. I get like annoyed of drivers. People are crazy these days. I also get really sleepy when I'm driving. So to make that a part of my work, I just don't think I could do it. And I don't like the wear and tear on the car. I don't want to have to pay for more gas or more car maintenance. I have also seen an increase in older people doing this gig work. I never have food delivered to our house, but I can see, like, if we go to a restaurant, you can see people picking up, or people like driving. I see other people in the neighborhood get food delivered, and it's older people. It's all ages, of course. I know with my parents, they're both in their 60s, and my mom works 2 jobs. She's a dog groomer, but she works at 2 different places, works 6 days a week. And then my dad also works 2 jobs. He has a full-time job. He's worked there for years, warehouse manager, and then he works at Home Depot as a part-time job. So he's always had 2 jobs as well. So I know it's kind of just become a necessity for everybody. Like I feel that having a side hustle is like, just everybody has one, but especially older folks that are not prepared for retirement.
To doing this kind of work, she said she kept talking about DoorDash and some card they have. She was asking if I liked it or whatever, and I had to keep reminding her I don't do DoorDash. I just do Uber, so I wasn't familiar with that. So maybe if you guys, any of you do DoorDash, you know. I think she said something about a Crimson card or something like that. I'll have to look it up. I don't know. But yeah, she was just saying that she preferred doing Uber, but she wanted to get on with Instacart. And I thought, wow, I don't know if that would be a good idea, because with this, we're just delivering like food orders. Sometimes it's just a couple hamburgers and some French fries, but with Instacart, you're doing somebody's whole grocery shopping order. That's it'd be a lot. And if they live in an apartment and you had to carry stuff up and down stairs, I don't know, that would be a desirable option for someone her age. But I wasn't going to tell her, if she felt like she could do it, then she probably could. But yeah, it really struck me when she said that she was too old to work and too broke to quit. I thought, yep, I think that's going to be a lot of people in this economy, and in the next few years we're going to see more and more of that. So I am getting tired, and I'm going to watch some of my favorite YouTubers, and then I'm going to go to bed. But I just wanted to check in with you guys, let you know what's going on. It was a good night. I'll post it here. Nice. Let me go on my phone and see what I made.
Okay, so in 3 hours, she made $95. Now she's going to go relax and watch her YouTubers go to bed. I'm excited to see some of her other videos. This is my first introduction to her. I do not know her name. I'm going to go and watch some after this, but I want to read some of these comments. We are from Texas. My mom is 83. She still works because she likes it. She has been a nurse since 1961. She is a care manager. That's great. I'm glad she still likes it. It's not right that the lady is still working at her age, but wow, she's doing fantastic. Working, still driving, and keeping sharp. Good for her. Got to admire that. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I agree that it's not right that she's working. There's sometimes people want to just work, like my dad is that type of person. Will he ever fully retire? I don't know, because he'll probably have something, because he gets bored so easily. I mean, even my mom, I can't imagine her not working. Like, she's always doing something, crafting, whatever. But this comment also highlights the other important thing in life, and that's your health. And I really hope that I am capable at 80 years old to be strong, healthy, fit, that's something I really prioritize now. Like, I work out on a regular basis. I eat healthy for the most part. I work on my mobility, my balance, all of these things that slowly start to deteriorate as we get older. And I want to be the healthiest version of myself always. Like, I want to be able to walk long distances and stand for a long time and squat, bend over, pick things up. Like, that is so, so important. And in my opinion, that needs to be priority for everybody. Like, please don't let your physical body lose the ability. Like, it's so sad to see that. If you're able to do that, like, you're able to walk, you're able to use your body, that's incredible. Like, our bodies are such a fascinating thing, and to be strong, it's not going to be there forever. So you gotta work on it. You are pointing out an important thing for couples. Planning finances for after one spouse dies. Impacts of Social Security, taxes, and many other things can dramatically reduce benefits. I know a lot of really healthy and active 80-plus-year-olds. Much respect for her. I'm sure you made her day with your supportive conversation. Yeah, that is a great point. And this was something that came up when I made that other video. The importance of kind of having things in order before, even at a young age, like, have a will in place, have your finances organized so that your loved ones can, access things and make things easier for them. I think this is especially important for couples, married couples, that maybe one spouse stayed home. Like, they were a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, didn't have as much earning, or like they combined finances and only one or the other was like the main finance person and the other person had like no clue how anything was. So sometimes they're like left in the dark about things and there's no money and they didn't even know that. Or it's just like, okay, my spouse handled all this, they passed away, now I have to do it and I don't even know where to start and I'm really overwhelmed. It can definitely become a mess. So yeah, I can tell a lot of these comments did not watch her video in full. You don't look 80 at all. So it was like the same impression that I had, but that's why I was like, there's no way she's 80. But she is not 80. She was telling the story of an 80-year-old. Another one, did I read that right? You're 80, you look great. Like, yes, you read that, but that's not what she talked about. I don't understand why families don't live together. She should be with one of her boys, and her wealth, the sale of the mobile homes, can be passed on to him. It's crazy how families become so divided over the last 75 years. Every family is different. It's a cultural thing, one, so there's a lot of cultures where they live with family members for potentially their whole life, but if you don't have a good relationship with family members or you have very different lifestyles, then it's not just like a fun thing to live with your family members. I have thought about the idea of like a compound with my family, my fiance's family. I think that would be something more ideal, but you have to have that. Like, I feel I would have to have a whole bunch of land to build on, which means I'd need a whole bunch of money, or we would have to find something like that or all move into the same neighborhood, and that's just not. Plus my parents are divorced, so it's like two different, yeah, it gets complicated. But yeah, not all people want to live with their parents or whatever. All right, one more comment. I'm 68 and do Instacart. Just started back after 6 years not doing it. I tried 4 hours and this week made 200 for 3 hours. I haul ass shopping, but Instacart says I'm slow. I guess 108 seconds is too long to try to find something, but I like working when I want. Just working 3 days. Sorry, the comment is a little bit of a mess. People are tipping much better too. I will be moving back to Florida. Not happy about it, but I have a job I can return to delivering auto parts. I was there 10 years. Okay, so yeah, 68 and doing Instacart. I also don't think I could do Instacart. I am not a huge fan of grocery shopping for my own stuff, so I can't imagine adding on other people. But yeah, this is a very common thing among the older generations and across all generations. We're all just trying to make some extra money. This was an interesting story, and I'm excited to check out her page. I think her name's Dawn. From what I could see in the comments. I think her name's Dawn, so I'm subscribed to her. I'll check out some of her other content. She will be linked down below, so go check her out, subscribe, give her videos a thumbs up to support.